Today, Hollywood and the sports world are mourning the passing of Carl Weathers, a literal and figurative giant. As the news broke, one of his close friends and longtime collaborators, Sylvester Stallone, couldn't contain his emotions.
I never could have accomplished what we did with Rocky without him. He was absolutely brilliant. His voice, his size, his power, his athletic ability, but more importantly, his heart, his soul. It's a horrible loss. And I'm standing here in front of this painting because it was probably the last moment we were ever in the ring together, and I'll never forget it. He was magic. And I was so fortunate to be part of his life. So, Apollo, keep punching.
Stallone's heartfelt words were not only a friend's condolences, but also an acknowledgement of the immense, irreplaceable influence of Carl Weathers. Yes, you heard right. Carl Weathers, the legendary star known for his unforgettable roles as Apollo Creed in the Rocky franchise, Dylan in Predator, and most recently Greef Karga in The Mandalorian, passed away on Thursday, February 1, 2024, at the age of 76. A quiet departure for a man whose life was full of excitement and intensity. Carl Weathers' story begins on January 14, 1948, in New Orleans, Louisiana, a city with a unique culture. This rich cultural cradle contributed to the formation of who he was. He was born into a family of modest means. But fate smiled on the young Carl as his natural talent for sports was revealed early on. A big break came when he won an athletic scholarship to a prestigious private school, St. Augustine High School. At St. Augustine, Carl did not limit himself to football. He was a true all-round athlete, a testament to his extraordinary physicality and desire to learn. Imagine a young man who not only excelled on the American football field, but also played football, wrestling, boxing, judo, and even gymnastics. This diversity not only trained his body, but also nurtured a disciplined mind. The Weathers family then moved to Southern California, a land of promise with more opportunities. Carl continued his academic and athletic journey at Long Beach Polytechnic High School, then Long Beach City College, and finally, San Diego State University SDSU. At SDSU, Carl Weathers continued to establish himself as a formidable football talent as a linebacker, an occasional defensive lineman. However, the road was not always paved with roses. In 1966, a freak ankle injury from a sidewalk injury sidelined him for a while, but with a strong will, he came back stronger. He became a key player for the Aztecs and played a major role in helping the team win the 1969 Pasadena Bowl. Those were the years of training in the top college sports environment. After graduating from college, he entered the harsh world of professional football. He signed with the NFL's Oakland Raiders in 1970 as an undrafted free agent. Playing as a linebacker, he appeared in 7 games in the 1970 season, helping the Raiders win the AFC West Division. The following season, he played only 1 game before being cut by the Raiders. But Carl Weathers did not give up. He moved north, joining the BC Lions of the Canadian Football League CFL in 1971. He played for the Lions for 3 seasons, appearing in 18 games, continuing to demonstrate his fighting spirit and tenacity. The fateful turn from the field to the stage, what made Carl Weathers different was more than just his physical prowess. Alongside his football career, another passion was quietly growing and being nurtured: acting. Many people may be surprised to learn that, while playing professionally, Weathers still spent time pursuing his artistic education. He graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in Drama from San Diego State University in 1974. This was not a spontaneous decision. It was a deliberate preparation for a career change. Weathers understood that professional sports careers were short-lived and that he needed a plan B, another way to express himself. His choice of theater showed another side of him. The man, the soul of an artist, hidden behind the athleticism of an athlete. In 1973, while still a CFL player, He had a small, under-the-radar role in the crime action film Magnum Force, the sequel to Dirty Harry with Clint Eastwood. It was just a taste of the limelight, but it planted the seeds for greater things. After officially retiring from football in 1974, Carl Weathers devoted himself to acting, and the speed with which he made a name for himself was astonishing. In just a few short years, he appeared in a series of films and television shows, demonstrating a remarkable range of acting. Take a look at his early roles. Friday Foster, 1975, opposite Pam Grier, Bucktown, 1975. TV shows, hit series like Good Times, The $6 Million Man, Kung Fu, Cannon, Starsky and Hutch, Barnaby Jones. He was not afraid to try his hand at many genres, from action, crime to situational comedy and drama. His hard work, professionalism, and perhaps his impressive athleticism helped to impress directors and producers. 1976 was a busy year. Not only did he appear in Starsky and Hutch and Barnaby Jones, but he also had a role in the crime film The Four Deuces. He then continued to have notable supporting roles in bigger films like Steven Spielberg's Close Encounters of the Third Kind, 1977, as a military police officer, the sports comedy Semi-Tough, 1977, and the war action film Force 10 from Navarone, 1978, with Harrison Ford and Robert Shaw. He also starred in the adventure film Death Hunt, 1981, with Charles Bronson and Lee Marvin, along with a number of television series. This early career period showed a restless Carl Weathers, always looking for opportunities, not afraid of big or small roles, and gradually asserting himself as a real actor. He was ready for a breakthrough role, a role that would take his name to new heights and leave a permanent mark in film history. In 1976, fate knocked on his door in the form of a script about an unknown boxer in Philadelphia who gets a chance to change his life when he fights the world heavyweight champion. That film was Rocky, and the role of world champion Apollo Creed was the role that changed Carl Weathers' life forever. The casting process for Apollo Creed is also an interesting story, showing Weathers' confidence and somewhat arrogant. When he auditioned for the role with Sylvester Stallone, then a relatively unknown actor and screenwriter, Weathers finished reading his lines and felt that Stallone's performance was not very good. Unaware that Stallone was the writer and star of the film, Weathers bluntly commented, "I would have felt much better reading my lines with a real actor." Instead of being angry, Stallone saw in Weathers exactly the confident, arrogant temperament he envisioned for Apollo Creed. And so, the role went to Carl Weathers. Rocky 1976, Apollo initially saw the fight with Rocky as just a show, a lucrative PR opportunity. But Rocky's resilience made him respect his opponent and fight with all his might. Weathers' performance showed both the champion's complacency and revealed surprise and a little anxiety when facing an unexpected challenge. Rocky II, 1979, haunted by his failure to knock out Rocky and the sneers that the first fight was a fluke, Apollo challenges Rocky to a rematch. Weathers brilliantly portrays Apollo's wounded pride and determination to prove himself. The dramatic final match is one of the most memorable moments in the series. Rocky III, 1982. After Rocky loses the title to Clubber-Lang Mr. T, Apollo returns in a completely different role, Rocky's mentor, friend, and trainer. Weathers' transformation from rival to ally is convincing. He shows a more mature, wiser Apollo who sees Rocky's worth and wants to help him. The scene where Apollo trains Rocky to run on the beach with the classic line, "There is no tomorrow," has become a symbol of friendship and determination. Rocky IV, 1985. This is Apollo's final and tragic appearance. Patriotic and self-confident, Apollo decides to fight the giant Soviet boxer Ivan Drago Dolph Lundgren in an exhibition match. Weathers puts on a confident, flashy show before the match, but then shows his melodrama when Drago beats Apollo to death in the ring. Apollo's death is a huge shock, motivating Rocky to take revenge, and also an emotional end to a beloved character. Stallone was absolutely right when he said that he couldn't have made Rocky without Carl Weathers. Weathers not only created a worthy opponent formidable, he created a complex, deep character who accompanied and helped shape Rocky Balboa's journey. The chemistry between Stallone and Weathers was a key element in the series' resounding success. Apollo Creed is more than a role, it's a legacy, and Carl Weathers played it perfectly. The resounding success of the Rocky series catapulted Carl Weathers into the ranks of sought-after stars in Hollywood. He was no longer pigeonholed as Apollo Creed and began to assert himself as a true action star. In the 1980s, the golden age of the genre, Predator 1987. This is perhaps his most memorable action role since Apollo Creed. In this sci-fi classic, he played CIA agent George Dillon, an old friend and secret rival of Dutch Arnold Schwarzenegger. Dillon is a complex character, both polished and professional, yet secretive and calculating. Weathers' presence alongside Schwarzenegger creates a powerful action duo. The greeting scene with the handshake so tight that the muscles bulge between Dillon and Dutch has become one of the classic memes of popular culture, symbolizing the masculinity and competition of the 80s. Action Jackson 1988. After the success of Predator, Weathers got the opportunity to star in the action film Action Jackson. He played Jericho Action Jackson, a tough Detroit cop who was framed and must clear his name. This film was designed to make Weathers an action superstar in the model of Schwarzenegger or Stallone. Although the film was not as successful as expected, it still showed Weathers' ability to carry an action lead role with eye-catching fight and chase scenes. The 1980s and early 1990s were the period when Carl Weathers established himself as a force to be reckoned with in the action film industry. He proved that he was not only Apollo Creed, but also a versatile actor, capable of taking on many different types of roles, as long as they required his particular strength and temperament. But then, another unexpected turn came, a seemingly harmless comedic role that caused the most serious consequences for his health. Who could have guessed that, after so many years of rolling around on the NFL field, facing unexpected collisions, after fiery boxing matches on screen and dangerous action scenes in Predator, Carl Weathers would suffer the most serious injury of his career from a comedy? That is the bitter paradox in the story of Happy Gilmore 1996. In the mid-90s, Weathers decided to try his hand at comedy, once again showing his versatility. He accepted a role in Adam Sandler's sports comedy Happy Gilmore, playing Derek Chubbs Peterson. The role of Chubbs Peterson quickly became a favorite of audiences for its humor, warmth, and somewhat ridiculous but lovable. The interactions between Weathers and Sandler created many refreshing laughs. But behind those laughs was a painful behind-the-scenes story that Weathers kept hidden for many years. In an interview with GQ magazine in 2020, Carl Weathers revealed for the first time the details of the horrific accident on the set of Happy Gilmore. The incident occurred during a stunt scene, where Chubbs' character fell backwards. According to the script, he was to fall into the safety cushion stunt bags that were placed in advance. I was supposed to do a backward fall onto the safety pads. They were only about 2 feet off the ground, Weathers recalled. However, there was a mistake in the setup. The pad was not placed against the back wall as intended, but the problem was, the bag was not placed against the wall, he explained. So when I fell backwards, instead of my whole body landing on the bag, I ended up in the most unfortunate position. As a result, his head landed on the pad, but his tailbone hit the hard wall behind him. My head was on the bag, but my tailbone hit the wall, and it compressed my spine. He described the sensation as a jolt that shot through his body and a burst of intense pain. But as a former professional athlete and actor, his first reaction was to just bear it. I was in terrible pain, but I said, "Okay, keep shooting." After a few more takes, however, the pain became unbearable, and even Weathers had to admit defeat and stop. I couldn't take it anymore. I don't know what happened. Surprisingly, despite the severity of his injury, Weathers didn't talk about the extent of his pain at the time. He explained simply, "In my head, I'm an athlete, I'm tough. Holistic toughness classic Lywood, but at a high price." It was only later that he learned the true extent of his injuries. He had broken two vertebrae. The injury had tormented him for years with severe pain. He said his spine had almost repaired itself, the vertebrae fusing together in an unnatural and painful way. Fortunately, after many years of suffering, as if by fate, his pain began to subside. After years of pain, somehow it started to subside, he said, although it never completely went away, and he still had the ghost of the pain from the Happy Gilmore days. He was able to function more normally. Despite the lingering injury, he continued to take part in film and television projects, although he may no longer be the top action star he once was. But then came another big opportunity late in his career that brought him a dramatic resurgence and introduced him to a whole new generation of viewers, The Mandalorian. In the blockbuster Star Wars series on Disney+, Weathers plays Grief Karga, the head of the Bounty Hunters Guild, and a key figure in the journey of protagonist Din Djarin. Initially appearing in a somewhat ambiguous role on the side, Karga gradually becomes a trusted ally, a charismatic and somewhat humorous leader of the city of Navarro. His performance was critically acclaimed and earned him a prestigious Emmy nomination for Outstanding Guest Actor in a Drama Series in 2021, a well-deserved recognition for his enduring talent after decades of dedication. But Carl Weathers' contributions to The Mandalorian go far beyond his acting career. He was entrusted with directing two pivotal episodes of the series, Chapter 12, The Siege Season 2, and Chapter 20, The Foundling Season 3. His transition to directing at the age of 70 shows a relentless passion for storytelling and a desire to explore new aspects of the film industry. He has proven that he is not just a familiar face in front of the camera, but also capable of leading a crew, creating compelling and meaningful footage. The success of The Mandalorian, both as an actor and director, is a brilliant final chapter in Carl Weathers' career. It shows that he is not just a legend of the past, but also a relevant artist, actively contributing to modern popular culture. As of 2024, his net worth is estimated to be around $8 million. This figure reflects his hard work, wise choices, and solid position in the entertainment industry. The passing of Carl Weathers leaves an unfillable void in the entertainment world. As Sylvester Stallone said, he was indispensable, a miracle. The audience will forever remember his deep, powerful voice, his radiant smile, his muscular physique, and above all, his versatile acting talent. What do you think about the death of Carl Weathers? Leave your comments below. We hope you find this video useful. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching this video, and see you in the next videos.